Hello again, everybody. Yeah, I've got a few things to get through today. Um, so first of all, hello everybody, especially all the new people. The last video I did on formicariums just blew up insanely, and I've gained a bucket load of new subscribers. Some of the views and comments I had on that video were obviously from various other ant keepers, YouTubers, manufacturers, all sorts came along. I mean, I was really shocked by the reaction that I had to that video. So what I thought I'd do first is, for anyone who's perhaps new to the channel, I'll perhaps talk about what this channel is, how it got started, and how a lot of, not all, but how a lot of the other subscribers that were already here sort of came to be here. Basically, I spend a lot of time on ant forums, discords, reddits, reading and commenting. And what I've noticed, particularly in terms of years, let's say, as a year goes round, I've noticed that at certain times of the year, exactly the same questions keep coming up again. Right now, it's not quite started yet. It'll start in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. But right now, everyone's starting to talk about hibernation. In February, late February, everyone will be talking about bringing their ants out of hibernation. In July, everyone's talking about nuptial flights. There are certain topics that are almost constant. And I see the same questions coming up over and over again. And I see the same mistakes being made by people over and over again. And I comment a lot on these forums and Reddits and stuff like that and talk to people. And what I thought would be good is if sometimes when I'm talking to people and saying, look, do this way or do that way, or I was able to then say, I'll show you what I mean. And I could link them to a YouTube video that I'd done that explains what I'm talking about. So that's why I started this channel, just to create a little series of videos, a tutorial that does what it says at the top. It does the very basics of ant keeping, and that's why it's called Basic Ants. And as I said in my very first, if anyone wants to go all the way back to, it's not the actual first video, but when I said an introduction to my channel, I said in there what a lot of other YouTube channels do. And I've nothing against them. I know they're trying to attract viewers, they're trying to grow, they're trying to become a successful channel. But they tend to sort of charge off into exotic ants, into bigger and better setups, and they perhaps leave the new or inexperienced ant keeper that's looking for that help and support, they perhaps leave them behind. And the other thing I've noticed is that a lot of new and inexperienced keepers ask really basic questions sometimes, and I'm not having a go at anybody for asking those basic questions. I know that people have, they want to know the answers to those, and very often again they find that knowledge is assumed. It's assumed that everybody knows that already on a lot of other places where they're starting to move on to bigger and better things. So my promise to everybody at the start was that I'm going to keep this small, simple, exclusively about Lasius, Niger and Flavus, and UK based. And the other thing that I would say here is that I personally, I haven't got some giant ant room, I haven't got equipment all over the place, I haven't got giant tanks. In fact, here what you're looking at now, this is the setup, this is my ant room. It's basically my desk. The Lasius Niger are on one side and the Lasius Flavus are on the other side. And yeah, that is my ant setup. So also, while we're here, oh, and the other thing just to say is that I'm not chasing subscribers, I'm not chasing views. You'll notice I don't bother to have any type of title screen or anything like that. I also am not on any other types of social media. There's no Instagrams, Facebooks, TikToks, you name it, none of that. This was just here for, like I said, for me to direct people so that I could show them things. Now, from Friday, I think I need to just sort of do a little bit of catch up. One of the on my screen there, when I showed you my setup, actually you could see I was watching Ants Hollifer's podcast where he talks to Aesthetic Ants and Wakooshi about what I was discussing on Friday, about the problems that manufacturers having at the moment in the market, the problems of manufacturing ant equipment generally, the size of companies, all of the things that I was speculating about. They're people in the know and they're actually talking about it. So if you are interested in companies and how they are doing or how they do what they do, then I would heartily recommend you go and watch Ants Hollifer's podcast. The other thing that I'd just like to say is that Aesthetic Ants. I'm a follower of. I'm a subscriber to Aesthetic Ants' YouTube channel anyway, and I did know that he made nests. What I didn't realise was that he had a cellar in the UK. And as I said in that video, I was trying to keep things very UK based. Even importing from Europe these days is a bit of a pain for us in the UK because of Brexit. And I wanted to sort of steer, like I said, Basic Ants, wanted to steer my basic viewer away from having to worry about Brexit import costs and stuff like that. But Aesthetic Ants does have a cellar in the UK, and that's Antantics, and I put the link on the links that I put in that video on Friday. I went back in and added that as an extra link. And what I'll do today actually is I'll put a link to Aesthetic Ants' latest YouTube video, which is where he's looking at his new nests. And yeah, actually his new nests, those mesh nests, they're basically ticking all those boxes that I was talking about in that video on Friday. They're 3D printed. The humidity comes from a tray underneath the nest, which soaks up through a grill in the floor. He's designed the under section in a really clever way that it's got basically 3 sections in the larger nest, so that you can alternate. Again, you saw how excited I was with my new Wakooshi nest, that I can alternate between left and right, because having different wet and dry areas in your nest is really good, and it's really good for the ants. They'll find the right place to live then, move the brood around as it needs to be. So that's a clever idea as well. So they are very, very clever designed nests. I really like the design effort that's gone into them. And yeah, they're available in the UK, so you don't need to import them from Europe. Now, on to what I actually want to talk about today. Official Spoon, who you commented on the video, and you were talking about my new queen. This is Queen D, about why she's so far behind your queen, for example. And the reason is that unfortunately my 3 queens that I caught to create this YouTube sort of tutorial, something bad happened to them. I'm not 100% sure what. I know that some very, very small looking worms were involved. And if you go back to a video I've got called Total Disaster and another one called The Day After, you can see the results of the disaster. So anyway, yeah, while all that was happening, and they were about 30 days into brood development, when I saw that happening, I thought, oh no, I need to get a new queen, otherwise I won't have a tutorial YouTube channel. So on my way to or from work that day, I can't remember which it was, I spotted a Lasius niger queen on the footpath, and I thought, right, well, I'm having you because I need an extra queen. So she was very, very late caught. So today actually is day 38 of Queen D's development, and she's doing very well actually. Here's the pictures. You can see now, I think there's 7 pupa in there, and I counted the larvae, and I think there's 7 larvae. So if those larvae pupate soon, that will be 14 workers on the first batch, which is quite good. There's a nice little pile of eggs in there as well, so that second generation will just be coming along as those workers are closed, which is what I said they do. So everything's looking good, everything's looking normal. And then A final little thing then, just back to my channel. Something else that I do, or why I keep ants. It's not, for me, about the look of the ants, which is why I'm not eager or haven't charged off into exotic ants. I'm not needing to keep big ants with big mandibles. I've said this before in some of my previous videos. Everything for me is really about the science. My absolute hero, if you know, we're talking about all these YouTube channels and all these people that turned up, my absolute hero is a lady called Deborah Gordon. And one of the things that frustrates me a little bit, perhaps, is that these ant keeping channels on YouTube and ant things, some of them, I won't go into names, but some of them have got views in the millions. And yet Deborah Gordon's videos have got views in the thousands. Now, she doesn't exactly make a whole series of videos. She does one every now and again, and sometimes she does the odd TED talk and stuff. But it's all of her sort of work and what she's discovering. It's basically, I'm interested in how ants behave. What makes them do what they do? I mean, effectively, an ant is a little tiny biological robot that over millions and millions of years, evolution has created an algorithm, like a computer program, in their head. And one of the things that I actually learned from Deborah is basically that ants developed TCP, the Internet Protocol language that we use. Ants developed that exact same language to talk to foragers as they come back to work out whether a new ant should go out to forage. It's all to do with the way that packets of information are sent on the internet. The algorithm that's running in an ant's head is identical to the computer language that we humans came up with a lot later than the ants managed to do it. So yeah, this is what fascinates me, and this is why I keep ants. So I thought, and I do little bits of science as well in my channel. So there's two things that I thought I'd show you here on this queen. So the first thing is, as she's turning her head here, I don't know if you can see, but on the very top of her head, there are 3 circles in a little triangle there. Those are extra eyes. I don't know if people knew this, but only the queens have them. They're called ocelli, and the purpose of them is to allow her to fly. It's how she's able to basically know which way's up and which way's down, and be able to navigate in flight, and that's why only the queen has them. And all queens will have those 3 eyes on the top of their head. And then the second thing, and you will see this a lot, people will talk about it on forums and stuff, but as she turns around there, you'll have heard people talking about wing scars. You can see there in the middle of her, in her there, that sort of strange bumpy thing, that's where the wing used to be in there. When she ripped it out, that is what's left. That's the wing scar. And you will say to people, people will say when people are asking about queen identification, is this a queen? A question I see an awful lot. The answer very often given is yes, because I can see the wing scars. That is what they mean when they give that answer. Right, so that's everything today. I'm very happy with the Queen, day 38. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about how close we are to hibernation and how much we'll get out. I mean, I know we'll get the first crop of nanitics out. I don't know if we'll manage to get a second round out before hibernation, but we'll see. Thank you for watching, everybody, and welcome to all the new people, and thank you for coming to my channel. Goodbye.